Huh. Says I'm live. Live's a scary thing. No, it's not really. It's a scary thing if you care how you come off, right? But if you're one of those people who is afraid of doing a video because you got to do 15 takes or 30 takes so you can get it perfect, maybe it's not the best format for you. But I like it. And you know what? A few years ago, I was that guy who had to do 15 takes just to get it right. And then at some point, you understand that the message is more important than maybe the perfection behind it. And so you just start winging things a little bit. Now, if you're doing a video for your website, and if you go to my website, you're going to see some single take videos. But if you're doing a video for website or commercial purposes, of course, spend a little more time, do a little more post-production on it. But for social media, you got to get over some of those imperfections. And once you do, going live is an option, right? I follow Neil Patel. He also says that going live is good for your SEO. So we go live Tuesdays at 2. Once a month, we bring a guest on. Last week, that was my friend Cheryl Hickerson at Females in Finance. Shout out to Cheryl. She's got a great group, men and women in females in finance, helping to promote more women in financial services, leadership positions at firms, owners of practices and businesses. Anyway, so yeah, we're live. This is our first Tuesday at 2 of the year. We're going to talk a little bit about content marketing, but first, let me tell you about StreamYard. So StreamYard, good and bad experience so far. I always give this disclaimer. StreamYard allows us to stream across one LinkedIn profile. Gosh, I wish LinkedIn would let us stream across more than one profile, but as for right now, it's one profile. Multiple Facebook profiles. So right now, streaming on my personal LinkedIn profile, my personal Facebook, our Facebook group, which is a private coaching group called Social Selling for Financial Advisors. Jump in there, give us a request. I'll let you in, right? So also YouTube, also our business page on Facebook. So I think 5 or 6 locations. That's awesome. Here's the downside of StreamYard. From what I've learned so far, I can only see comments from one of those locations. A couple of times it's been Facebook. Other times it's been LinkedIn. So if you're leaving comments on the live stream on one of the various social media platforms, my sincere apologies. I may not even see it. So sorry about that. I was challenged to a beard off. So for those of you who have known me for a little while, this is a brand new thing. I'm 50 years old. I've never grown facial hair because I can't. Look, it's still a little patchy. That's a month in. But I was challenged. So now I got to do it, right? And also, I love my shirt. Man, one of my greatest pet peeves is your and your. One of my smart kids who was in 9th grade was at a science Olympiad at Embry-Riddle University not too long ago here in Daytona Beach, and the college kids really liked my shirt, so I thought I'd wear it for the live stream. All right, enough about all that. I'm kind of stalling because I don't have a lot of content today, but I want to encourage you to use relatable content on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you some examples of what I mean by that, right? So, and this came up this morning, right? When we bring on a new client, that includes content and what we do for them, and it's all financial advisors. I think my sister-in-law, who runs a platform for runners and service providers in that industry, she might be our only client who is outside of financial services. So all of our other clients are advisors or vendors in the industry or sales managers or recruiters. Anyway, so we are launching a new client, and I won't give you a whole lot of details. I don't want to identify this person necessarily, but I do want to point out that we had a typical experience with this person like we do others. Now, when we work with a client that is maybe older than me, older than 50, 55, 60, 65 years old, they have a very traditional mindset around content marketing. When we work with a younger advisor, and I'll show you a couple of those younger advisors today, they're maybe a little bit more open to not just putting business out there, right? So this advisor that we're just getting launched, I'm guessing a little bit, but I would say he's in his early 60s. And we produced our first content calendar for him. And he crumpled it up in a piece and threw it in the trash, the virtual trash, right? And his feedback on that was basically he wants all business content. And I asked myself at that point, why aren't you just using some of the firm approved content if that's what you want to do? Why would you pay a team of writers to create personalized content for you if all you want to do is, put more business content out there. See, I think LinkedIn's got a problem, and it goes along the same as this mindset of this advisor that we're trying to get launched. And so I'll finish that story, then I'll get into LinkedIn's problem. This advisor, who again has been doing what he does for a very long time, wants us to preach essentially sales and informational content, right? And it's going to take us a few months to demonstrate to him that a little bit of personal touch in your content actually goes a really long way. LinkedIn is a social media platform after all. And if he's like the other clients that fit that mold that we work with, it'll take us about 60 days. And then he'll be like, all right, let me see what you guys got, right? So anyway, no problem. We've been down this road before, but it did spur me to want to have this conversation today about relatable content. Here's the LinkedIn problem. I had to look up this stat this morning. LinkedIn's got about 875 million users globally. That's crazy. Now, million profiles, right? 875 million profiles. That doesn't mean they're all active users of the platform. Maybe it's 400 million. From what I can tell, the research I do, there's about 9 billion content views globally every single week. About 3 billion of those views are in North America, of course, the market that matters to us. Approximately 2% of LinkedIn's network is actually sharing content. So LinkedIn creates an amazing opportunity for those of you who want to market with ongoing content, right? Because those 3 billion views in North America are being shared by a relatively small pool of people. And if you see a lot of the content I see, you know that most people don't do it very well, right? Most people get very limited interaction and engagement on their content. And so I'm here to tell you a little bit about relatable content. Now, the problem I think LinkedIn has is 875 million profiles, maybe 50% active, whatever, I'm guessing a little bit. Most of the content or the engagement that goes on out there, and you see it in your chat box and you see it in your newsfeed, it's sales related material, right? So their problem is, while they're a social media platform, the content is like salespeople shouting at each other. Every now and then you get somebody who shares good tips as well. But LinkedIn is starved for good content. So if you actually create and put good content out there, they need good content to show to people that isn't salesy, that is good professional tips and ideas, but also is relatable human content, right? I'll show you my feed first, right? Because we do plenty of business, plenty of business content, of course, but then we try to every Friday at least do something fun, right? Something that's about me, something that is more relatable than more tips and tricks about content or more tips and tricks on, how to grow your practice or whatever that might be. So I encourage you to share relatable content, because after all, we're not trying to sell to everybody. If you're doing it right, you're out there trying to make relationships, and that doesn't happen unless you can find the commonalities, that you have in somebody else. Hence the snowboards, right? I mean, I love my snowboards. This was my first board. It's a 1986 Burton Cruiser. Love it, love it, love it. This is a 1984 Burton Performer, belonged to a buddy of mine who has since passed. Means a ton to me, right? So they're back there because I love them. It's also really cool when somebody like my new friend Carrie Ellis that I met with, I think on Friday, was like, Charlie, check out those boards. I used to work at a surf shop when I was a teenager. So there's relatability right there. Some of that is every now and then someone knows what album this is, and it's Dead Kennedys, I think, Holiday in Cambodia or something like that. Anyway, so keeping relatable things around me, it helps me draw parallels with people that are not necessarily business related, helps grow relationships, right? So let me jump into a few examples of content. And then before we wrap here, we're only going to go to about 2:15, maybe 2:20 Eastern time. I'm going to show you some resources that we have that'll help you post relatable content. So first, I think I'm jumping into my news feed. Maybe not. Where is my news feed? There it is. Now I got to get back to StreamYard and share my screen. All right. Sharing screen. Wow. Cool. All right. So we should be now. I'm going to click away and I'm not going to see you. You're still going to see me. But here's my newsfeed, right? So this is the content I post right now. This is weird because I'm live and I'm live there and live here. But if you look, right, this is an excerpt from a blog that I just wrote and posted. Some of you may have gotten an email about this blog as well. You'll notice we are linking to that blog, but it's in the comments somewhere. So that post is not actually linking away from LinkedIn. LinkedIn likes native content. What I mean by that, it's content that's designed to be consumed directly on LinkedIn as opposed to linking away. And you can see we posted this yesterday. We've got 570 impressions. We got 21 people liked it. We got 33 comments, many of which are me responding to other people's comments. But that's got a little bit of traction. Those impressions will continue to grow. Here's a Friday post, right? It was like dress up your dog day or something like that. This is my dog. His name is Shark. It's a really funny name because we live across the street from the Atlantic Ocean, and sometimes, though don't tell the cops because it's not legal on our beach, sometimes I let him run, and then I got to yell shark down the beach. That's pretty funny, right? So people turn and go, "Oh my God, a shark!" No, it's my dog. But if you look at this, it got 870 impressions, right? It got 22 people, 26 comments. I mean, if we go further down, you're going to see attention LinkedIn followers, latest and greatest. This is advice on LinkedIn and some new features on LinkedIn, 1,375 impressions. Here's promoting last Tuesday's webinar with Cheryl, 607 impressions. Here's promoting an RA collective. That's my podcast. In case you're not already aware, this was my interview with Carrie Carbonaro. Great interview. Carrie's awesome. 1,100 impressions, right? So of course there's a lot of business content in here. Here's a business message about end of year, goofy hat, whatever, right? 1,661 impressions. So what I want to show you is that I get plenty of business content out there. I try not to be salesy in any way with that content, but by mixing in little things like this, I also tell a little story of who I am, which is kind of cool, right? So what I want to do is I'm just going to click through a couple of clients of ours first. So we can shut this tab so we got less stuff moving in the background. So this is my buddy Judd. We help Judd with some of his content, and we're going to take a look at this is a post that his broker dealer. Now Judd's independent; he's part of FiNet, but this is a post that Judd's broker dealer makes available to him through whatever platform they're using, Engage Social or Hearsay or Social Patrol or one of these other monitoring oversight platforms, compliance platforms. And this posted a week ago. There is no engagement on this. Now I can't log in as Judd, but if I were logged in as Judd, I'll bet you Judd's got less than 100 views on this thing. So if we go to this, now this is a little bit older post of Judd's, but I had to go back and find it. Judd is into mountain biking. That's a road bike there, I think, but Judd's into mountain biking. He's into Airstreams. So check out how much more engagement this got. 23 comments on it, 35 people, including myself, who liked it. I'm into campers. I'm into bikes. This gives people not only the opportunity. I mean, Judd's a professional, right? And this is a post that's a lot more personal than it is professional, but it's mixed in his feed with plenty of professional posts. The posts that are about Judd, about his passions in life, these are the ones that get interaction. Check that out, 35 and 23 comments. That's awesome, right? So we'll close a couple of these down so I don't get lost in them. I want to show you my buddy Steven. Now, you see this post, a lot of you are going to know exactly where that comes from. It's an FMG Suite post. I will let you in on a little secret. If you don't know already, I worked for FMG, gosh, maybe 2011 to 2013 when I started Social Advisors. Do you know that video that's playing on posting to Steven's profile 1 month ago? That's the same video. That's one of the videos that was available almost 10 years ago when I worked for FMG. I don't know how many tens of thousands of clients they have right now, but suffice it to say, it's many tens of thousands, 50, 60, I don't know, thousand, right? All those people are sharing a library of 250 or 300 pieces of content. Now, again, I'm not logged in as Steven, but so I would imagine this got very little exposure. One thing is it links back to Steven's website, right? So it's not native to LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is an advertising platform. That's much of how they make their revenue. They do not want people leaving the platform. So when you link back to your website, they don't want to show it to people. Now, let's show you some good Steven posts as well, right? Now, this one is a business related post, but it is a personal photo of Steven, right? So it's a little more personal. It's got his compliance number in there. It's all pre-approved. Check that out. 25 people liked it. 14 people commented on it. If we go even deeper into something that Steven, I mean, I'm sure he's passionate about growing Husky Financial and his clients and the great things he's doing for people in Charleston and outside that area. But if we look at something that is deep in Steven's heart, this Going Places post, right? This is a charity that Steven volunteers for all the time. 32 people liked it, 31 comments. That's relatable. It gives people an opportunity to know a little bit more about Steven. All right. I'm not going to belabor this point. Vary your content, do videos, do polls, do business, do business posts. Link back to your website, but put that link in the comments, not in the body of the post, right? Also, share relatable content. It's important that people get to know you as a human, not just a professional. And we've got some great resources to help you do that. So it's our new website. I don't know if, I think all the links work at this point, but we sent it live last week. I'm pretty proud of it. I like it a lot. So we've got a couple of downloadable items. So the website is social-advisors.com. And if we get down to post party, we'll talk about that in a second. All right. So here's some downloadable items. We've got a great 365-day content calendar. That's a little bit misleading, actually, for a title, because it's actually Monday through Friday. So we don't give you posts for the weekend. But what this is, and you can download it right from our website, this is Monday through Friday, every single week. We give you a prompt. We're not going to tell you what to post, right? But we give you a prompt so that it can spur some ideas for content that you can create, right? So download that calendar, use it. It's awesome. We've been using it for 2 or 3 years, gotten a bunch of downloads. So, and certainly a good reception as well. All right, here's a case study that we did, really just demonstrating exactly what I'm talking about. So what you're going to find out, if you do custom personalized content creation, those custom posts are going to get about a 500% greater reach than, one of those canned posts that I showed you from Judd or Steven earlier. And it's going to get about 850% greater engagement on those custom posts than on the canned post. So here's another one. This is an automation one, not necessarily about content, but I do want to show you Post Party. All right. So what you can link from our website to Post Party, or you can just visit socialpostparty.com. It's going to redirect to a Kartra page. Here's what Post Party is. If you've heard of what an engagement pod is, basically it's that concept. So an engagement pod, very simply put, is when you organize a bunch of your friends and you say, hey, let's all post at noon on Wednesday and interact with each other. And here's what's going to happen. With that early interaction, LinkedIn's going to show your content to more people. The reason for that is, again, they're starved for good content, right? Most of the network that's sharing content doesn't do it well. So when they see that early engagement on your post, they're going to deem that good content. They're going to show it to a much larger audience. Now, that's what an engagement pod is. Here's the issue with an engagement pod, and I can show you an example of this because I'm in a couple, right? You can invite 15 or 20 people to consistently post at the same time on that day of the week, and 2 or 3 people are going to show up consistently. So you're not going to get the volume of engagement that you're expecting out of it. So it's a great concept, but it's a difficult thing to execute to keep all those cats herded and doing that post, that engagement pod consistently. So we just built, we just worked with some agencies, some agency partners. We put together Post Party, and all Post Party is we run 8 post parties a week. I take part in 3 of them. Most of our clients take part in maybe 1 or 2 of them. And all it is you post at the time of the post party. You copy the link to your post. We're going to send that to 15 people. and then you're going to interact with 15 people, right? So it takes you about 30 minutes to execute. And the result of that is pushing that content up to about a 500% greater reach than posting that content without post party. So it's $99 a month. You can do as many or as few post parties as you want to. And it is awesome. I'll tell you, the people that subscribe to it, and there's some testimonials on our website, the people that subscribe to it tend to stick with it. So if you're using it, you're going to see a pretty significant bump in your content. So in your content exposure. All right. How do we stop sharing screen? There we go. Cool. So anyway, the moral of the story, I suppose, is share relatable content. If you're one of those people that's setting it and forgetting it through FMG or through Forefield, or even, one of those, Google Alert type services out there, we've got a client that before they became a client, I was on the phone with them and I said, hey, tell me about that one guy who stopped snoring in his sleep. And this person was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, you just posted an article on LinkedIn that was about some dude who was snoring in his sleep and it was ruining his marriage. You don't even know what you posted, right? So if you're one of those people that's just going to set it and forget it kind of schedule, posting random links to articles from Google or canned content from one of the various canned content providers in our industry, or the firm canned content, listen, you can do a better job than that. Quit being lazy. Now, if you need somebody to do a better job for you, we're happy to be those people. So I'm going to jump back into our website real quick here. It'll make it easy to share a screen here on StreamYard. But if you take a look at content on demand, whether we do other work with you or not, we're happy to build out your social content or, write custom blogs for your website copy, things along those lines. So check out social-advisors.com for all the resources you might need for creating good, relatable content. And thanks for hanging out with me today. And not your, right? All right. Have an awesome rest of your week. Catch you sometime soon.